This is the Joe Mullins Show, showcasing the vibrant spirit of Florida and America's innovative creators. This is the place for captivating conversations, inspiring guests, and industry professionals celebrating the best place in the world to live, shop, work, and play. And now, your host, County Commissioner, entrepreneur, and freedom advocate, Joe Mullins.
Hello, Florida. This is Joe Mullins of the Live, Work, Shop, Play Show, and welcome to another amazing weekend in the greatest state in the greatest country in the world. And I have got a very special guest with me today. I have got the Queen of Versailles, Jackie Siegel. Jackie, welcome to the show.
I am so honored to be here with you, Joe, and thank you so much for traveling to Washington, D.C. out of your very busy schedule for what I believe is a really important cause.
Now, we're in an amazing event today. I came up from Florida by an invite from your organization, the Victoria's Voice, and we're going to talk about that and what that is. I can't imagine anyone not knowing that knows you or followed you, how beautiful that organization is. But we're here for an event, a book signing, and a book you had done, and it is right here.
Victoria, or The Princess of Versailles.
The Princess of Versailles. What a beautiful book. And when you open it up, you see some amazing pictures of this princess. Who is this princess?
So going along with the theme of my Queen of Versailles, with the Broadway show, here's the Princess of Versailles right here, one
wow
picture. But going along with the theme of that evolved from the documentary to the Broadway show, The Queen of Versailles, I decided to take a very dark subject, but put it in like the form of like a fairy tale to follow along with the theme of The Queen of Versailles, calling my daughter the Princess of Versailles, but unfortunately she overdoses at the end of the story. So it's based on a true story, but I kind of lightened up the story by making it seem like a fairy tale.
So it's kind of like a true fairy tale, the trials, the tribulations, the princess going through things,
Yes.
And the ending of it is a little different. I don't think Disney would ever do an ending like that because they want to glamorize everything. But, speaking of something like this, we're talking about addiction, and we're talking about the story and media and in the Hollywood. Hollywood for many years glamorized the addiction. They made it look like it was a cool thing, the Miami Vice. I loved Miami Vice. I was an era watching it, but it was like cool watching all this stuff. And little did we know back then what we were promoting and how bad it would become. This is a situation where your daughter was exposed to fentanyl. And you have been a very strong voice to it. What's amazing is when a lot of people deal with something like this, they get embarrassed, they get quiet, they don't want to talk about it, and they want to bottle the hurt up. We grew up in an era where you were told to hold the pain in, suck it up, and move on. You have done just the opposite of that.
Yes, but going back to the Miami Vice, which you referred to at the beginning of this question, back then, if someone did marijuana from a plant or cocaine back then also from a plant, it was not tainted with fentanyl.
Right.
I'm not saying it was wonderful that they were doing those drugs by any means, but it wasn't tainted. Now people get a white powder. They don't know what it is. And some of it's just pure chemical. It can be even, they mix stuff like Drano in some of this stuff. Really horrible. So it's a different time, and the drugs are so much more stronger right now. The marijuana is they're making synthetic marijuana, fake.
Now,
stuff.
your daughter was exposed to fentanyl. She had the challenge, and I heard the event. We were watching the event, and an amazing book signing. A lot of energy in there. A lot of people telling their stories, talking about what they've gone through. People that you would be shocked that they went through it and experienced it. But you're talking about fentanyl. Fentanyl has taken something, and that's something that people don't realize. Drugs is one thing, but then you've got this fentanyl over here, and the fentanyl enhances it and is killing people instantly.
Yeah, people are It can even be like people are buying like Percocet on the street, but they have pill presses, and it's like pure fentanyl. I mean, innocent people who are addicted to say they broke their leg and they can no longer get their prescription. They're going to the streets, and they're killing these people. It's really insane. But talking about the pain, you were in the previous very complicated question because it was layers of questions in there. The pain actually gives me the strength because I don't want other parents to go through the pain that I have from losing a child, to losing a sister, from a totally preventable death. This isn't this isn't cancer. This is a preventable death. You just don't do the drugs. So you have to and that's where this book can come in and just kind of be an icebreaker to open up the conversation. And then they can say, by the way, just you have to assume everything on the street is laced. You get anything from a stranger, assume it's not, that the stranger, the drug dealer, might not even know what he's selling.
Now, you guys were talking about vapes. Your kids were talking about vapes and stuff. They are now being laced with fentanyl. It's a new weapon and tool.
Yes. So what happens is, because teenagers are buying used vapes that are filled with things like fentanyl and even just regular poison, like fake drugs. My hairdresser, she had only one child. He was 14 years old. He did a vape that he bought from someone in the bathroom at school, and the next day he was brain dead, and now he has to live in a facility. He's still alive, but he can no longer walk or talk. I mean, it's horrible, just from a vape, and he didn't know what was in it. It made his brain go crazy. It's really bad.
Now, Jackie, you have gone through this situation that many people. Give me just a minute. Let me let them come down. He can edit this out.
Yeah.
Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
We're just doing an interview.
I'm gonna.
Okay, Monique, you're going to join us for dinner, right? So what time do we need to meet out front? Monique, what time do we need to? Oh, you're.
Nice to meet you.
Sit by your mom. Sit by your mom. I'm gonna move over a little bit, and this will be great.
I gotta go get ready for dinner after that. I didn't realize you meant right now.
We're gonna do it quick. We can do it at the dinner too.
No,
We're gonna do it
it's
quick.
all
Where did
good.
Al go?
It's
Where,
easier
is he?
now. He's gonna get us the mic.
He's got to get the other mic. All right, so what I'm going to do is, this seems odd because we're in the middle of a conversation, but what we're going to do is cut away and then bring you back in with it. So No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. He'll be able to do all this magical stuff. It's amazing when they put it together. I sit there and go, this isn't how it happened, but he puts it together and it flows.
Awesome.
So what I want to talk about now.
Or do you want me to call her into the scene? She can stand up and I'll say, oh, Debbie, here's my daughter, Debbie.
Yeah,
Debbie,
because
come
I want to
sit
talk about the impacts on a family and what a mother thinks,
Okay.
and what message do you have out there for mothers that are going through things like that, families and mothers, and then we'll talk to you about the sibling, the sister. You ready? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We need to.
So do you want her out of the shot?
Just leave her in it. Leave her in it. We'll bring her in it. We'll be fine. We'll flow into it well. So Al, what I want to do is then cut away when we're talking to part of the event up there,
Sure.
and then come back in and we'll have.
No problem. She's in the view now.
Yeah.
When I edit things, I'll put it all together.
Okay. Can you make me look a little younger and better looking?
And me too, please.
No, whatever you look. Y'all look perfect.
Some miracles I can't.
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
I'm gonna grab the equipment from up there. It's still rolling.
Okay.
So
We got mic'd and we're good to go.
you're all mic'd
Okay.
correct.
Awesome.
Now, this event today we have seen has been an amazing event, and we've got your daughter Debbie with us. Debbie, thank you for joining us as
thanks
well.
for having me.
Well, you guys were up there talking as a family, standing together, a unit as a family. you're wanting to be a voice to people that have gone through the drug addictions and the loss of a loved one. What are some of the things, Jackie, that you as a mother went through your head during the addiction that you could tell others, hey, you're thinking this, but some of the typical things that I've always heard. My mother actually looking at me one day said, where did I go wrong? Did you ever ask yourself that?
Well, of course, anytime any parent loses a child, they think, where did I go wrong? How could I have prevented this? And the thing is, you can't self-blame yourself. You can't live the rest of your life in guilt. Victoria, see, we missed all of the signs of a drug addict.
Because of lack of education.
Lack of
not knowing.
education.
Right.
She was like doing drugs when she was over at her friend's house. She would lock herself in the bedroom and say, I'm just tired. In the meantime, she's in there doing whatever she was doing. So we missed all those signs. So my goal now is to have people start the conversations with their children to prevent them from doing drugs in the first place. But also, we have what we call the vital signs that's in Victoria's voice. We have pamphlets, we have speakers going all across the country and educating parents to look at the signs.
Now, what age do you think this book is good to start out with a child?
It really depends on their environment. I would say in general, around 5th or 6th grade, like the middle school ages. And when do you think kids start getting exposed to like someone wanting, let's do a dad's cigarette or Uncle Bob's cigarette?
And I mean, every upbringing is so different. Some kids, like you were saying earlier, start as young as the 2nd grade or even before that,
Right.
and it really does depend on the environment. But I think looking back at the times when they had that whole, I don't know if you guys remember that DARE program, that was very targeted towards 5th graders. And I think that's a very influential age. I could even see it being as young as 4th grade. But I think 5th grade is kind of, you're going through that maturity stage. And middle school is really where a lot of kids start, especially with weed and some of the gateway drugs. That's really where they get introduced to that environment because, everyone's a little awkward and going through these things and they want something to make them feel a little bit more secure in themselves. And if other kids are doing it, I think you kind of have to catch them before they get into that environment. So in my head, I would think that 5th grade is probably the best area to start going into 6th grade, but I think it could potentially even be as young as 4th grade. But you also have to understand, kids are going through a lot in middle school. They're doing sports, so to have them sit down and look, at a book, it might be more responsive to a younger age group. So.
Well, I think it starts giving them a direction and understanding. I mean, we've all have heard of Russian roulette, and none of us have played it because we know the implications of it. We've been told you'll blow your head off, you'll kill yourself. I said when I went through recovery in the 12 steps, it ought to be taught in school. I don't know what grade you start teaching it at, but it ought to be called How to Cope with Life Stress instead of giving a drug or alcohol or something to be able to have a process to go through, go to God, communicate about it. We were told to be very quiet. This disease loves the darkness. It loves the
1000%.
darkness. You guys are bringing light to and bringing a voice to it. As a sister that's gone through it, did you ever see this going on in your sister? When you were interacting with her and playing with her and being with her when mom's away and dad's away, did you see some signs that made you, when you look back, you were concerned with?
I mean, we were super close when we were young. Like I would say when I was in elementary school and she was in middle school, like that was like when we were our closest. And then once she started, using and stuff, she kind of shut me out a lot more. It was like we'd go to her room, but then she'd shut the door behind her and I was the annoying little sister that was locked out. But I mean, even like I knew that, she struggled a lot with like anxiety and stuff. Like she would talk to me about that, but she never openly would do drugs in front of me.
Right.
And so I think that was kind of like her sheltering me as a little sister, but I definitely could see that, maybe it's something, maybe it's just her anxiety that's making her act kind of funny one day, but when you're that little, it was a 5-year age gap. Like I just didn't understand that she was going through things that were deeper than just mental at that point. It was going through that addiction and towards the end of it, like I think going back, it's like everything, like her acting weird, like you kind of really wish you could catch on to those
Yeah,
signs.
like when they start locking the door,
Uh-huh.
distancing themselves from the family. Or all of a sudden now the sister's annoying because she's knocking on her door,
Yeah.
because they're hiding something.
Yeah.
This is something that you can give families
These are
and tell
signs.
families, hey, you see these things
The
as a
changes.
sister, as a mom, as a brother, or a dad, or some kind of cousin, family member.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things y'all can share that can help people realize and get help.
Yeah, and one of the important things too, I think everyone individually saw her from a different lens. My brothers were kind of friends with her friends. I was more of that little sister perspective. You were her mom. Like she had a different relationship with her dad. And it's like maybe if we all kind of came together and talked about things more and I think you can't really blame yourself for any of it because how would you ever know? Like this is us coming from the perspective of
you don't
we
know.
lived it.
I never expected it in a million
years. And that's the important thing is just making sure that your family feels like they can talk about their emotions and talk
And
freely.
not blame each other, not point the finger at anyone else in the family and not at yourself.
Right. I remember in my struggles with addiction, I would always go around my brother or sister and share, hey, I'm doing cocaine or I'm doing this and I'm cool. And they never touched it. They just look at me but looking back on it, had they been more aware of what I was doing and training, they may have gotten me help sooner and been able to take me out of that addiction. Now, I was in an era where there was nothing called fentanyl. Had there been fentanyl when I was alive, when I was actively struggling, I wouldn't be here today. There's no way.
Back then, everyone on Wall Street was doing it.
There wouldn't
All
be
the
here today.
nightclubs, oh my
But
God.
you guys, a bigger mission that your father and your husband, David Siegel, had started is Narcan. And Narcan was something that I remember hearing about, and there was mixed people in the beginning. They said, oh, all you're doing is keeping the drug addict alive and he's just going to die the next day. They didn't understand it. They were thinking it was going to cure them from doing the drug.
No.
Narcan's an amazing thing. It gives a person a second chance to get help.
does.
But you've got to pay attention to the signs.
Yes.
1000%.
Tell me how Narcan's played a part in the Victoria voice.
Yeah, I think all of this, and my mom is probably the better one to speak on it, but just seeing from where we started over 11 years ago now, they were just doing everything they could to learn about the opioid crisis and the drug epidemic, and no one had any idea what Narcan was, right? Naloxone, Narcan, whatever you want to call it. And once they discovered this, they're like, why is this not sold at CVS? Why do the first responders not carry it? And they're like, wait, like this could have saved our sister if they got to her fast enough and had it in their hand, but they weren't equipped with it back then. And my mom and my dad, like that was the first shocking thing to see, that this accessible medication is just out there and it's just
Could save lives.
Could so easily save so many lives, and it's just not being used. So I think that was kind of the jump start for the passion. I mean, not for the passion, but that was kind of the initial message of our mission. And I mean, you guys have done an amazing job. Like, look at the first responders now. You call up 911 and they are all equipped with an Narcan in their pocket today. So
Many doses, because now some of these drugs, it takes more than one dose.
Exactly.
Well, a lot of people didn't understand the police when they first had it. My brother was a burn doctor and he worked with a lot of the firemen and the paramedics. The Narcan was meant for them.
Yeah.
If they got around it to be able to, because you can just touch this stuff and overdose. So it was meant for them. And here are these heroes using it on other people, not realizing that they may need it used on them. So it's an important thing to get out there. And I think it's an important thing to say. Tomorrow we're going to be at an amazing event where we've seen us at Fogo now. What a great way to bring her voice out here. You guys are not letting her tragic story end tragically. You're turning around and putting a beautiful twist to it.
Thank you.
Turning around, giving education to people, writing books to be able to get kids educated, where we can maybe stop this one day and end it. And end the situation and end families going through.
As much as we can,
Narcan, though, tomorrow we're going to see that at the Capitol, they're recognizing it. Where's Victoria's voice going from here? Where's the foundation going from here?
we have a lot of exciting things coming our way. I mean, me and my brother Drew, when my parents started the foundation, I was 14 years old, he was 12 years old. And, back then I would like to say I've been an ambassador of it. But now that, I've come back to work with the family and I can devote more time, me and Drew have actually just joined the board of Victoria's Voice. So we plan on taking this to whole new levels. Like, everyone knows Make-A-Wish, and we want everyone to know Victoria's Voice because, it's such a sad thing to talk about. It's so sad to hear these stories. But, if you don't, it's sadder how many tragic lives we'll lose at the end of the day. So one of our missions is we're actually working with the Fentanyl Fathers who we met about a year ago today with Greg Swan at the last
Yeah, we
National
love Greg
Naloxone.
Swan. We have Angel Army with him.
Yeah, and so we started Angel Army with him, and this is going to be the biggest platform. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, when I was in 5th grade, we had the DARE program. It was like the old drug education system, but this program, we actually equipped the parents and the loved ones and people who are personally affected by this crisis. And we're going to send them into every school in America is the goal. We want them to go and advocate and teach drug education prevention and, share what Narcan is and teach these students at a young age because we're just one person. I'm a second person, but we need more people to be passionate about this cause and open to share their stories. So that's, I think, the most exciting program we're working on right now. But we have a bunch of different verticals that we're expanding on. But that's the mission of the next year and one of our big pillars that we're proud of. So.
You look speechless.
I really am, and I'm sitting here and realizing. I'm sitting here and realizing that the family.
You're good. I gotta take
It
speaking
is.
lessons
Oh my
from
God.
you.
I'm sitting
Oh my
here
God.
watching a family that has gone through one of the most tragic things and seeing how y'all have taken a voice and y'all have shouted it out to the world and you're coming together and you're doing something like this. You're showing how a family united. I mean, Jackie, how do you feel about your kids taking this role? What does this make you feel?
I am so proud of them. A few of them are on the board, but they've all have a voice in Victoria's Voice. Whenever I need them, I don't always get them all at once. But I have so many children. At least I get one here and there that I always have because it's wonderful that sometimes it takes a peer to talk to a peer. I mean, I'm a mother, but when you're talking to high school students, it's helpful to have someone more closer to their age talk from experience about losing a sister, losing a sibling. So this is where they're very effective with their personal stories.
As we wrap up here, I would like both of y'all to answer this. What are something you can tell a mother? What is a message you want to give to a parent out there that's struggling with addiction right now with their sibling, with their child?
Well, I would say that this book could be a good icebreaker to open up the conversation about drugs because it's a true life story in a fairy tale form where the child passes in the end from a drug overdose, but without being confrontational. Because the thing is, if a parent, they know their child is doing drugs and they said, let's sit down and talk about your drug problem, the child is actually going to shut the door, slam the door on their parents, hide, go to a friend's house and distance themselves. And I want this to be like the icebreaker, like for the parents to come through a back door, like where the child can feel comfortable and say, look what happened to these parents. And I love you. Tell them that you love them so much. You don't want the same thing to happen to them because really they are playing Russian roulette with every dose of anything that they take off the street is playing Russian roulette. You don't know when you're going to get that
Well,
bullet.
back in the day, it was one bullet in the chamber with the way drugs were and 5 empty. Today, when you put fentanyl in,
now
it's
it's
5 bullets with 1 empty.
100%.
It just takes a grain of sand.
Yeah,
Right?
it's unbelievable.
And your life
I
is
can't
gone.
imagine it. Princess of Versailles, how do people get this book?
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com. You
Jeff
can get this
Bezos
book.
is going to love me for
Absolutely love it. I actually want to see this in schools all over and see this organization help kids learn this early. I know myself, speaking of, had I known about what I was doing early, how serious it was, I probably wouldn't have gone down that path and taken my family through it. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing book. It's got a lot of beautiful pictures in it. Not a lot of wording, but you feel the emotion in it.
Yes.
Beautiful one. How do people get involved with Victoria's Voice? If they want to support it financially, if they want to get involved, if they want to reach out and just say, hey, my sibling is struggling with drugs or my child is. You guys are an amazing resource.
Yeah, thank you. You can just go to our website. We also have Victoria's Voice Foundation social, so you can reach out to us on there.
Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Recorded by the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio.